So Stannis is going to have serious issues no matter what. In the best-case scenario that all of the Tyrell-Lannister forces are delayed a few days, he likely has rounded up the highborn hostages he can. His forces are within the city with the remnants of the navy afloat. However, the city and several gates would be in poor condition. When Stannis attacked the city, it had already had a refugee and supply crisis. Now you'd have all these extra bodies eating what is left. Oh, and a ton of bodies which will lead to disease and death. Welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also click on the notification bell to remain updated. Stannis would have immediately taken the throne and been named King Stannis Baratheon. Ser Davos Seaworth would be his hand. King Stannis' rule would be fraught with tension between the hand who would attempt to appeal to Stannis' characteristic sense of justice and cold logic, and Melisandre and Queen Selyse, who would appeal to his religious fanaticism. The religion of the Lord of Light would replace the faith of the Seven as the official religion of the crown. The high priests and silent sisters of the faith of the Seven, and most likely the enemies of the crown also, would be purified by fire. Cersei and Tommen would be dead before Stannis would have gotten to them. She would have poisoned him and then killed herself in the throne room as she was about to do before Tywin burst in. Everything that Cersei did and influenced after that point would not have happened. Tommen would never have lived to be king. All the noble ladies locked away in Maegor's holdfast would have been killed by Ser Ellen Payne, on Cersei's orders, before the battle is won. This includes Sansa Stark and Shae. Joffrey would have been dragged from his chambers and imprisoned, then executed as a usurper against the one true king. All historical records would be amended to indicate his status as a bastard product of incest, and an illegitimate usurper of the crown. Tywin and Tyrion would have been executed for leading open rebellion against the one true king. Bronn, the Mountain, and Pod would likely follow. Jaime would have been rooted out from where he was being escorted by Brienne for a prisoner swap with the Lannisters for the Stark girls, and executed for treason against former King Robert Baratheon, the king's late brother, for incestuous cuckoldry with the queen. Either that, or Brienne may have learned the news that the Lannisters and Sansa are dead and Arya escaped, and therefore her mission for Catelyn Stark no longer legitimate, and decide to give up Jaime to the clutches of justice, be it the crown or Rickard Karstark, as they hadn't formed any kind of bond at that point. Should Karstark have gotten his revenge against Jaime for killing his son, it's unlikely Robb's forces would have been splintered following Karstark's execution for killing the Lannister boys in Jaime's stead. We'd follow the exploits of Brienne as she first attempts to find Arya and bring her back to Lady Catelyn, and then her attempt to kill the new king for the murder of his brother, Brienne's former king and claimant of the throne, Renly Baratheon. Should she survive all that, she would return to Lady Catelyn's side as her sworn sword. Arya would have still witnessed Lomy and Yoren's murders, gone to Harrenhal, served as Tywin's cupbearer for a time, met Hot Pie, and Jaqen Hagar, twisted Jaqen's arm to help them escape before the Lannister army killed all the Harrenhal prisoners upon their departure to King's Landing, and met the Brotherhood without banners, including Beric Dondarrion and Thuras of Myr, on their ill-fated attempt to reach Riverrun. But depending on Brienne's timing in finding her, she may or may not have been kidnapped by the Hound. If Brienne gets to her before then, her fight would be with the Brotherhood who are attempting to ransom her. If she doesn't get to her before the Hound, Arya may still have the chance to kill Polliver, as she originally got that chance while traveling with Sandor. Since both the Hound and Brienne were trying to get Arya back to her mother who would have still been alive, Arya's journey would likely have ended there. Training at the House of Black and White off the table. As the only surviving marriageable daughter of House Stark, any further training at all would have been unlikely under Cat's thumb. Arya would not have been prepared to kill the Night King. The Hound would have deserted and escaped the same as he had under the canon event. If he kidnapped Arya before Brienne found her, their battle over Arya may have taken place much earlier in the series. If the Hound got all the way back to Lady Cat holding Arya for ransom, she would have paid it and the Hound would have bought and eaten 20 chickens for dinner that night. Also, Brienne's abilities would have been thrown in question. Unless the Tyrells could cunningly calculate an escape or political trick, they would have been punished for their alliance with King Renly Baratheon in opposition to the one true king by marrying Margaery to Renly, and fighting alongside the Lannisters at Blackwater. Best case, they're stripped of their lands, castle, and title as Wardens of the South. Mace and Loras would be sent to the Wall, and Olenna and Margaery would be live as lowly servants of either the Crown or the new Lord and Lady of Highgarden. Worst case, they're all executed, or at least Mace and Loras would be. Same for the Tarlys, Tyrell bannermen who fought alongside them. The tenuous peace offering to Dorne of the hand of Princess Myrcella in marriage to the heir of Sunspear Trystane Martell would have fallen apart, as Myrcella would no longer be a valuable princess, and there would no longer be anyone with whom to make peace as the Lannisters would be dead. It's uncertain what would happen to her at that point. Best case, the Martells act humanely and continue to host and protect her while possibly organizing her escape from Westeros. Worst case, they hand her over to Stannis to maintain peace with the crown, and she would likely be imprisoned and/or killed. Keeping in mind that Oberyn, we don't hurt little girls in Dorne, Martell would still be alive if not for the Lannisters, and Doran, no more war, Martell would still be alive if Illyria hadn't sought to overthrow him after Oberyn's death. It's possible they lobby on Myrcella's behalf for mercy for the former princess, since Trystane loves her. Certainly Illyria wouldn't have killed her. She only did that for revenge against Cersei after Oberyn was killed by her champion, the Mountain defending Tyrion at his trial by combat, and in this scenario, Cersei dies way before that. If Stannis demands her for execution, there's another potential conflict. Perhaps Dorne and the North could partner in their war against the Crown in such a case. Throw Dany into the mix for seasons later, if she's still alive, and now we're talking a legit coalition to take down Stannis. Her treatment in the world may vary depending on who believes what about her parentage. Those who believe the official story that she's a Baratheon may treat her with respect and even as a potential claimant for the throne as the last surviving child of the late King Robert. Those who know the truth that she's the incestuous bastard product of Jaime and Cersei may not view her as kindly. This may be a point of contention when Dany arrives that could have made for an interesting conflict and relationship. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.